Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Sometimes, a single hug can speak louder than 1,000 words. And when Song Zuer wrapped her arms around Liu Yuning, the internet didn't just see a hug, they felt a story, a moment that may have quietly confirmed what fans have long hoped. This might be something more than friendship. Stay with us as we dive deep into the moment that shook the fandom, because this isn't just about a hug. It's about chemistry, vulnerability, and maybe love. It began in the quietest way. No stage, no script, no lights demanding attention. Just a brief moment caught behind the scenes. But sometimes it's the quietest gestures that echo the loudest. Song Zuer approached Liu Yuning, her expression soft but sure, her steps unhurried. There was something almost cinematic in the way she closed the distance between them, as if the space had always been meant to be filled. Then came the hug. Unannounced, unrehearsed. She wrapped her arms around him with a familiarity that didn't seek permission. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't for show. It was honest, unguarded, and deeply human. Liu Yuning didn't hesitate. He didn't shift away or stiffen the way people sometimes do when caught off guard. Instead, his body responded with ease. His shoulders relaxed, his gaze softened, and in that split second the atmosphere changed. His eyes followed her movement with something tender, not of obligation, but of genuine connection. There was no surprise in his face, only warmth, the kind that lingers long after touch. What fans witnessed wasn't just a hug. It was the culmination of something that had been slowly, quietly building over time, something real. Not a rehearsed on-screen embrace, but a private moment accidentally made public. It revealed trust, mutual affection, and perhaps a closeness that had grown in the shadows of long days, shared jokes and quiet understanding. That hug, captured without warning, was a window into their relationship, one that words hadn't defined, but actions had begun to reveal. And for the fans watching, it felt like a silent confirmation that behind the scenes, something meaningful was blooming. Not in performance, but in truth. That it began in the quietest way. No stage, no script, no lights demanding attention. Just a brief moment caught behind the scenes. But sometimes it's the quietest gestures that echo the loudest. Song Zuer approached Liu Yuning, her expression soft but sure, her steps unhurried. There was something almost cinematic in the way she closed the distance between them, as if the space had always been meant to be filled. Then came the hug. Unannounced, unrehearsed. She wrapped her arms around him with a familiarity that didn't seek permission. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't for show. It was honest, unguarded, and deeply human. Liu Yuning didn't hesitate. He didn't shift away or stiffen the way people sometimes do when caught off guard. Instead, his body responded with ease. His shoulders relaxed, his gaze softened, and in that split second the atmosphere changed. His eyes followed her movement with something tender, not of obligation, but of genuine connection. There was no surprise in his face, only warmth, the kind that lingers long after touch. What fans witnessed wasn't just a hug. It was the culmination of something that had been slowly, quietly building over time, something real. Not a rehearsed on-screen embrace, but a private moment accidentally made public. It revealed trust, mutual affection, and perhaps a closeness that had grown in the shadows of long days, shared jokes and quiet understanding. That hug, captured without warning, was a window into their relationship, one that words hadn't defined, but actions had begun to reveal. And for the fans watching, it felt like a silent confirmation that behind the scenes, something meaningful was blooming. Not in performance, but in truth. When the clip surfaced online, it didn't just go viral, it resonated. There was no flashy announcement, no media campaign behind it. Just a quiet video, barely a few seconds long, yet powerful enough to set entire communities across the globe alight. It was the kind of moment that doesn't need explanation. Simply moves people. Within hours, fans were sharing the footage again and again, adding their own thoughts, emotions, and interpretations. The internet didn't just watch, it responded. And in that collective reaction, something extraordinary happened. The world began to feel connected through the smallest of gestures. Across platforms, languages, and time zones, people started piecing together what this hug might mean. Some saw it as a turning point. Others felt it confirmed long-standing suspicions. What united them all was the intensity of their response. This wasn't the typical excitement that follows a celebrity interaction. It was emotional, personal, as if something in that embrace spoke directly to the hearts of those watching. They weren't just fans analyzing a scene. They were witnesses to something they believed to be genuine, even sacred. Many noted the softness in Yuning's eyes, the way his smile seemed unfiltered, full of something quietly joyful. Others pointed out how Zuer leaned in with complete ease, as if she had done it 100 times before. In this small moment, people saw stories of trust, affection, maybe even love. Theories filled comment sections. Edits flooded timelines. But beneath all the speculation was something deeper, hope. Hope that what they saw wasn't just two people acting, but two souls slowly being revealed to one another. And in a world often starved for sincerity, that hope, fragile as it was, felt like something worth holding on to. Long before the hug that sent waves across the internet, there were already traces, fragments of something unspoken, quietly unfolding between Song Zuer and Liu Yuning. Those who paid close attention had begun to notice the subtleties, lingering glances during interviews, the way their laughter effortlessly blended, the careful yet affectionate choice of words when they spoke about one another. Nothing was ever loud, never confirmed, yet something in their shared presence felt consistently meaningful. And after the hug, all those small scattered moments began to line up, like stars forming a constellation. Fans went back, rewatching old behind-the-scenes clips with new eyes. They noticed how Yuning would instinctively create space for Zuer beside him, how she often looked at him with a kind of unspoken understanding, how he once tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear without hesitation. Suddenly, what once seemed like ordinary interactions felt deeply intimate. People weren't just seeing chemistry, they were sensing history. Even their social media activity, once overlooked, became part of the narrative. Coordinated outfits, similar captions, posts made within minutes of each other. It all started to feel less like coincidence and more like quiet confession. Nothing explicit, yet emotionally charged. As if they were telling a story in silence, allowing those who truly cared to listen beyond the words. The hug didn't come out of nowhere. It was the visible result of something invisible growing slowly, patiently, over time. And connecting these moments wasn't just about fan speculation. It became a way for audiences to feel part of something tender and real. In a world where so much is curated and calculated, this unfolding bond felt authentic. And that authenticity, however fragile, is what continues to pull people closer to their story. As the emotional weight of that quiet hug continued to ripple outward, something else began to stir. Something newer, more uncertain, yet full of possibility. Rumors, once whispers in the background, began to take on a clearer shape. Stories of late-night dinners, of projects initiated behind closed doors, of choices being made not just for the screen, but perhaps for something far more personal. Industry insiders spoke cautiously, hinting that Liu Yuning had personally requested Song Zuer for an upcoming collaboration. It wasn't framed as a casting decision. It felt like a gesture, a deliberate choice rooted in trust, comfort, maybe even something deeper. Their names, once just co-stars on a production list, were now being spoken in a different tone. Not as performers alone, but as a pair, intuitive, magnetic, emotionally aligned. Behind these unfolding rumors lies more than just fan excitement. There's curiosity, yes, but also a quiet sense of admiration. Could it be that something so genuine is shaping not only their personal connection, but their professional paths too? What adds even more texture to this twist is the timing. Shortly after the viral hug, both Zuer and Yuning shared social media posts. Not together, not tagged, but uncannily timed, each with a message that seemed to speak from the heart. Fans read between the lines, sensing that even their silence was full of intention. As anticipation builds for their next appearance, people aren't just waiting for another drama or stage moment. They're hoping to catch glimpses of real emotion threaded through their work, of art imitating life in its softest, most vulnerable form. This isn't just another rumor cycle. It feels like a new chapter, where feelings once hidden beneath the surface begin to shape everything that follows. Not loudly, not officially, but meaningfully. It's easy to dismiss a hug as something fleeting, just a casual momentary gesture between colleagues. But that hug between Song Zuer and Liu Yuning carried a weight that couldn't be measured by its duration alone. It wasn't rehearsed, wasn't framed for the camera, and yet it spoke louder than any scripted scene ever could. There was a softness in the way she moved toward him, and in the way he welcomed her, without hesitation, without needing to ask why. It was a moment stripped of performance, stripped of expectation, and in that raw simplicity it revealed something honest, something real. For Zuer, who is often seen as bubbly and lighthearted, the choice to reach out so openly suggested more than just comfort. It showed trust, safety, a desire to connect not just with the person, but with what he meant to her in that unguarded instant. And Yuning's response was just as telling. His body relaxed into her presence. His eyes didn't search for the camera, didn't shift away. They held her. As if, for that breath of time, the world had narrowed down to just the two of them. That's not something that can be taught. That's a feeling lived. Fans saw it. They felt it. And maybe that's why the moment matters so much. Not because it confirmed a relationship, but because it reminded people of something rare in today's world: authenticity. A real unscripted human moment between two people navigating fame, pressure, and emotion. That hug wasn't loud, but it echoed. Not because it was perfect, but because it was true. In that brief embrace, they told a story without words. A story of quiet affection, growing closeness, and perhaps the beginning of something neither of them planned, but both of them felt. So was it just a hug? No. It was a story wrapped in a single gesture. A story still being written. Through glances, shared moments, and maybe through love that doesn't need to be said out loud. And for us watching, it's a reminder that even in the world of fame, lights, and scripts, real connection still exists. Clapperboard if this story moved you, inspired you, or simply made your heart smile. Don't forget to backhand index pointing right, subscribe to our channel for more beautiful stories behind the scenes. Backhand index pointing right, like this video if you believe in real emotions, and backhand index pointing right, comment below. Do you think this hug meant more than just friendship? Thank you for being part of our growing family. We see you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next video, where every frame tells a story worth feeling. Red heart. Until then, stay kind, stay curious, and keep believing in moments that matter.